In accepting a new client, the auditor would need to consider a number of risk factors beyond the typical factors we consider in the audit risk model. For example, the auditor would have to consider the client's business risk. That is the risk that the client will not be able to survive economically. That's important to us because we need them to pay the bills. Clients that go bankrupt also incur reputational damage to the firms being associated with firms that are suffering economic harm. Some of the factors we might look at too is the economic climate, how technology is impacting this particular company, the competition in their field, the volatility of their business model, and where they're operating. Each of these are going to implement business risk to the audit firm as well. For example, if the client and firm are not located in the same geographic region, it wouldn't necessarily be a good fit, as there would be business risk to the firm too. Now, when we consider the financial reporting risk, we're going to look at what's the likelihood that there's going to be a restatement. And if there is a restatement, how big a deal it will be. So complexity of the client, integrity, incentives, internal controls. We want to associate ourselves with high quality companies that are doing good work because it benefits everyone. And so combine these two will help us assess the engagement risk. From the engagement risk, we'll determine the audit risk. After we've assessed the audit risk, we need to determine the audit fees we're going to charge the client. This is an important consideration because it will determine the resources we have to engage in the audit. If the client will not provide sufficient resources to engage in an audit, then we're not a good fit. The audit firm will have to ask certain questions like at the stage 2, do we have the independence necessary to engage in the audit? If we don't have the independence, we can't accept this engagement. If we lack the competence, then what we need to do is decide if we can gain sufficient competence to engage in the audit. That might be using a specialist, that might be hiring new personnel. So lacking competence can be addressed. Lacking independence can never be addressed.